Hi everyone, Emily here from Emily Reads, and today I have for you a good old massive book haul. I did some damage to my bank account, and so I'm hoping that this will be one of the last book hauls that you see for a while, because I really do need to curtail it. The reason why I did some damage is there were some pre-orders of some highly anticipated books that came in. I did cave and buy a special edition of a book. I bought a book for a buddy read and a book that was highly recommended, and then there was a book sale in my town. So there is a charity that called Books to Benefit, and they raise funds to support adult literacy programs. So Thursday night, I paid a $10 entrance fee, and I went and bought some books. It was $10, or I'm sorry, it was 50 cents for paperbacks, $2 for hardbacks. So I couldn't resist that deal, but I do need to slow it down. At any rate, I'll go into all of that and share with you what I purchased for each thing. Just a side note, you might hear me coughing, you might hear me clearing my throat, my voice might sound raspy. 2.5 weeks ago or so, I tested positive for COVID. It's my first go around with it. I have asthma, and then I live in central Illinois where the weather is turning and it fluctuates like crazy. Like one day this week, we had a high of 77. Today, we're going to have a high of 50 when lows overnight of 32. So when the weather turns and things get colder, that aggravates my asthma. So I'm kind of a hot mess right now. So I apologize. At any rate, first book up is not really a book to read, but I thought this was absolutely adorable and the perfect gift for someone who's a book lover. I gifted it to myself. But I've got this at a craft fair that my high school does. Every year they do like a holiday craft fair with local artisans, and the funds raised from it goes to support our local band and music program. So when I saw, of course, I have to go and support that. And then when I saw this, I just thought it was beautiful to go on my bookshelf as a holiday decoration. And it says "Oh Holy Night" on the side here. All right, then the next two books I did buy new. Um, One was just been I've been wanting for a while, and I just have been holding off. And people were like, "You would love this." And then the other one is after a discussion on Anita Gade's channel. We were Evie and Derry and Pete and Anita and I were talking, and I was pretty out of it because I was coming off of a nap. I was still pretty sick. And it was like, oh, we're doing Shadows of the Buddy Read. I'm like, huh? What? Okay. So the first book I bought was Adrian Tchaikovsky's Guns of the Dawn, which I've heard has been like Pride and Prejudice and Flintlock fantasy combined. Um, and I've been meaning to get this and meaning to read it. And finally, I just was like, fine, I'm going to just pull the trigger. No pun intended. I don't know when I'll read this. Maybe December. I have to take a look at if it fits the prompt for the readathon that I'm doing. And then I purchased Empire in Black and Gold by Adrian Tchaikovsky, which is book one in Shadows of the Apt series. And I really don't know too much about this series. I know it's like a 10-book series. So here we go. This I'll start reading in April of next year. And then I have my book of the month picks. Yes, I picked two. The first one is This Spells Love by Kate Robb. And it just seemed like a cute romance, something light. And I'm always trying to find good contemporary romances. And this seems to be like this, our main character is trying to get over a breakup, and she puts a spell to kind of help forget this guy in her relationship, but it backfires, and like her best friend doesn't remember her and they don't remember that relationship. So we'll see how that goes. And then I also purchased What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing her name right. I apologize if I'm not. The cover is just stunning. It's absolutely beautiful. And this is a fantasy that it sounds like it has ties to South American folklore, and then also there's magic. The story takes place in Cairo, Egypt. So, and I love anything that centers around Egypt. I love because I love learning about ancient Egypt. And the blurb, it says the mummy meets death on the Nile. So, um, yeah, we'll see how that goes for me. And then my pre-orders. Well, first was not a pre-order. I was going to order it off Amazon and it sold out. And then when it came out this week, someone on a Facebook group that I'm part of in my town, they work at Barnes and Nobles, and they said, we have 30 copies of this left. So if you want it, like there's still copies left, don't worry. So that morning, the next morning, so November 8th, I placed an order for it to reserve a copy and picked it up after work. And that would be the holiday edition of Fourth Wing. And I wasn't going to get it because I already have a copy of the Fourth Wing, but I don't have the beautiful stenciled edged one because I I held off, and then I came to the hype, and I'm glad I did. I really did enjoy Fourth Wing, really do enjoy it still. And yes, I wanted the 2 extra chapters. I confess it. It's just beautiful. I love it. I've already read the 2 extra chapters, and so I purchased that. And then my pre-order of Iron Flame came in by Rebecca Yarros. You can see I've already started reading it, and I'm enjoying it. And then I also pre-ordered Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldree. And I'm pleased to say, there's still like gummy of those stupid, like it says, that sticker that said Barnes & Noble exclusive edition that was on there. But I had a $10 coupon and $5 in rewards. So this book, and at free shipping to me. So this book was only like $4, maybe $5. That's how I buy books, folks. But this is the prequel to Legends and Lattes. And I know for some it did not land. But you need to have some lighter books to fit in with all the big chunky fantasy books. So, purchase that. Then, that's a big stack. Okay, so now I'm going to go with the books that I bought this week from the charity book sale in town. Again, these 2 right here were 50 cents. So I was like, okay, I can do that. Because I wasn't sure if I would like these. I normally don't like really hyped books, which is why I held off on Fourth Wing for as long as I did. But I got Under the Whispering Door and The House on the Cerulean Sea. And this one has the beautiful sprayed edges. It's the Barnes & Noble exclusive. And they're in pretty good condition. I mean, there's not really any bad creases on it. So again, 50 cents. I could not resist that deal. And then I found a box set by Suzanne Collins, her Gregor the Overlander series. So it's all 5 books. I pulled out the paperbacks. They look all in pretty good condition. The only thing is like the top of the box is a little bent, but I only spent $3 on this. So you can't resist that deal. And then I found, and I guess Pete over at Ponderings of Pete, he's doing a buddy read of this trilogy. I think it's a trilogy starting in January. And I didn't know it when I happened to pick them up. And these are $2 from my book sale. But we have Shards of Earth by Adrian Tchaikovsky and Eyes of the Void by Adrian Tchaikovsky. So this is book 1 and book 2 of The Final Architecture. I have no clue what they are about. I just saw them on the shelf and said sold because, again, they're in pretty good condition. This one, the binding is a little janky, a little messed up, but they're in pretty good condition and for $2. And I just keep hearing phenomenal things about Adrian Tchaikovsky. So he's an author that I really do want to get into. Then I found Battleground by Jim Butcher, which is, I don't know. I don't know what book it is. It's one of the later ones in, is it the most recent one? It might be. It's a Dresden File book. Came out in 2020. And so I do have the mass market paperback of this. So that will probably go in my Pango shop, and then I can switch it out for this hardback that's in really nice condition. And then I found, again, this was 50 cents. The Shadow of What Was Lost, An Echo of Things to Come, and for $2, The Light of All That Falls. So I found the complete Lycanus trilogy, and so here's all I know is what's on the back. So it has been 20 years since the godlike augurs were overthrown and killed. Those who once served them, the gifted, were spared only after accepting the rebellion's 4 tenets, which vastly limited their powers. Davian suffers the consequence of a war lost before he was even born. When he discovers that he wields the forbidden power of the augurs, he sets into motion a chain of events that will change everything. So I haven't really heard too much about this trilogy on BookTube. I don't know why that is. But again, when I saw they're in really nice condition and the paperbacks were only 50 cents and the hardback was only $2, I had to snatch it up. All right, that's all from the charity book sale. Now I'm going to go into what I got at my local library. And these paperbacks were only $1. Now, the funny thing is I had the first 3 books in this series in a bind-up, and I'm getting rid of that bind-up, but now I don't have the 3rd book. So, but I have the whole entire series except for the 3rd book. So I found His Majesty's Dragons, and again, this is mass market paperback, but it's in really pretty nice condition. And from what I understand, this is like dragons during the Napoleonic War, and that's really all I know. So I found His Majesty's Dragons. Let me grab all of the books here. Oh, curses. Sorry, I'm trying to grab them and not ruin my stack. From His Majesty Dragons, Throne of Jade, Empire of Ivory, Victory of Eagles. That's the last book. Tongues of Serpents, Crucible of Gold, Blood of Tyrants, and League of Dragons. Again, they were only $1. So, and now I have pretty much the complete series except for book 3. So I need to figure out where I can get that. Then for free at my library, I pulled some books. They're romances. I like romances and they're good. I enjoy reading them, like trying to go to sleep at night or just as a palate cleanser between some like harder, thicker books. So I found The Viscount Made Me Do It by Diana Quincy. I've never read anything by her. But what appealed to me is that the main female character, I mean, clearly it's a historical, and the main female character is a bone setter in London. So that's why I grabbed that. And then I grabbed 2 old school, like Julie Garwood. So I got Julie Garwood Castles, which I read years ago when it came out. And The Gift, again, which I read years ago. Does this have a step back? No. And then I grabbed Jude Deveraux, Highland Velvet, which I had grabbed a bunch of her books for free at my library. And this was not in there. So I'm excited that this is there because I had all of the other like books in the Velvet Quartet So I need to start working on making my way through Jude Devereaux's books. And then we're down to the final two. Then I used some money from that I had earned on Pango. And I wasn't going to get this book, but it was only $5 after using my Pango bucks. There is a decent, I'm kind of annoyed because there's a little ding there on the binding that I didn't see. It wasn't really clear in the pictures. But yes, I got Cassandra Clare's Swordcatcher. And I spent $5 on it. I wasn't originally going to get this book at all, but I've seen some booktubers rave about it. And some of them who have raved about it were ones that were kind of like on her other YA stuff. I've read the Shadowhunter series years ago. It was okay. I enjoyed it, or it was light. I enjoyed it. I tried the prequel series. Like, I read Clockwork Angel. I think that's the first one. And I was like, this is just rehashing what was in the Shadowhunters. And so I DNF'd the entire series after that one. I was like, I'm not going to continue on. But I'm intrigued because this is her adult fantasy debut. So we'll see how this works for me. I have no idea when I'll read this, but I've got it. And then the last book, I bought at my local used bookstore, and it looked like the front looked okay. I didn't realize how beat up the back is. There's a big, crease on that cover, and then the pages are a little creased at the end. So had I known that, I don't know if I'd have bought it, but I did get The Spanish Love Deception. I just want to see what all the hype is. I keep seeing this everywhere at the bookstore, on Book Talk, on Instagram. So I was like, okay, let's just see what the hype is. And I needed to get a book I needed to get a book this is from my independent bookstore. And the reason why I needed to get a book from there this month is a friend of mine. She designed their bookmark for the month. So they always give out like a bookmark with every purchase. And each month the design changes, and each month they feature a local artist. The local artist just has to make sure, see on her shirt here, there's a robot there. That is their design, their logo. So each bookmark just has to make sure that they feature, the robot. So I had to get a book from there so that way I can get a bookmark that my friend designed. And my friend's name is Kelly Robertson, and you can follow her on Instagram at Kelly Robertson Art. Okay. I love her work. She designs, she's also a fantasy lover. So she draws a lot of fantasy characters, which is delightful to see. That is my book haul. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what you think I should prioritize. I'm going to be prioritizing Iron Flame, and that is my hope to get a good chunk read of that this weekend. And as always, happy reading. Please like and subscribe. Bye.